Okay, I've started doing the coloring tests, or well, not tests. I've started doing the final coloring. Now I borrowed a college iPad because, as you know, my iPad is completely dying, and half the screen doesn't work. So I borrowed an iPad yesterday. And I've already done 3 colors. I started doing the flat colors. Now, I haven't started detailing the colors, like shading and everything. Well, not fully. Some bits are. But I just wanted to get the flat colors done for all 6 so far that I've got done. So then I can detail them all together so I won't end up running out of time by spending too much time on one and then continuing. Obviously, there was a lot of color tests I did, as you've probably seen in the other videos, but I finally decided on a color scheme. I decided the way I was going to choose the color scheme was to just color one nicely. Same way I did in that tester one I did. Sorry, I said I did a lot then. But it's the same way I tested it out in my earlier try using the JoJo OCs. So I started coloring this one. Obviously, I haven't shaded it or anything like I said, so that's different. But this time I know how many modules, if you want to call that, how many parts there are, as opposed to originally I just did a drawing and then continued it on. So I'm gonna add the flat colors to everything, choose the color scheme I want. I've already got a palette going. I've made one here so it's easier. Here's my color palette. Some colors are repeated or slightly different. Actually, no, they're not repeated. The top layer is like background colors, but they also appear in the main. For example, this brown is the background color for these houses and a tree, but it's also the sloth's color. And pink is this bit, but it's also in here. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Orange as well. So that's just the palette I've got. I think it's looking very nice. Obviously, I added some clouds, and these darker clouds are just like background stuff, because I just wanted to make it a little more interesting, because obviously he's not standing up, so it's a whole thing instead. I'm really liking how this turned out, and I really like the colors. I reference one of my own artworks for the color scheme, and I've just kind of been using that as a reference. I'll probably edit it. I'll add a picture in, I think, or at least have it in the blog. Depends. If I add the picture and it's already there, so I don't know why I'm saying this. Anyway, this is what the first one looks like. Well, not the first one, but the first one I've done. I really like how it's looking. I really like his trousers. As you can see, I didn't draw out the pattern in the black yet, for 2 reasons. One, I don't know if I want to have it outlined, and 2, it was just easier to do it fully in the squares first, so I can actually see what the pattern actually looks like, and I think it looks very nice. What else? Yeah, there's some slight deviations in color, like this green, and there's this other type of green here. That's mainly in the background. I don't think I've actually used it. Yeah, and then I've done this one, which I really like as well. I'm thinking I'm gonna have this blue color as everyone's hair color, except for Gluttony, because he's green, and I don't think the blue would look that good together with him. But we'll see. I really like this one, actually. This is what this one's looking like. I really like it. Cat Hat John's looking good. Her eyeshadow is looking a bit weird. Or, well, the makeup looks a bit strange, but everything else looks really nice. I added some red on this one. I added some red to the background and used some red in the color, which I like. And then here I used some purple, or more purple, but I also used the red again. But when I added purple to that one, I also used it a little bit in this one, just a very small bit on those underwear there, because I wanted to make sure everything felt connected. I might add in some red to the background so it doesn't look too separate. So I might make this chimney red so it doesn't blend in. And I might make the windowsill red so it stands out a little more. Because I want to make sure it looks good all across. And add some purple. Although I might... Actually, I'm going to do that now. I had this jewel as this green before, and I changed it to purple to make it look more connected, but I think I just like it like that. Because there's already purple in the eyeshadow. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I really like this. This looks way better in colour. So I'm very happy with how this has turned out. And I was a little worried when I borrowed the college iPad that I wouldn't have a way to transfer the files, but airdropping works really well. For example, the third part in the artwork was 678 megabytes, I believe. It was something 600. I think it was like that. Yeah, and it took about 10 seconds to upload to the other iPad, so it was actually very, very easy. So worried about that. Yeah, I think this is looking really nice so far. Yeah, I'm liking the color scheme. It's looking good. I'm excited to color this one in. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna color this tree as, but yeah, we'll get to that when we get there. As you can see, the skin tones have a bit of a difference in them. These two have the same kind of skin tone. They're both a bit darker. And he's a bit paler than them, just a little bit. Gluttony will be green because he's a hobgoblin. And Greed over here will have the same skin tone as Sloth and Wrath. These two. When we get over to here, I'm not too sure. I think I don't really know what kind of he's probably gonna be a bit of a darker, not too dark. I'm not too sure, to be honest. And he's pale. He's gonna be pretty pale. That's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, I think this is looking very nice. I'm really liking how this turns out. I just need to get the flat colors done, so that even if I don't finish, so that I don't have one just uncolored. And I also printed out the colors, the color schemes, which I'll probably put in the blog after this. And they look very nice. The color schemes that I printed out are a tiny bit different. I have changed them up a little bit. But they look very good in person. So I'm very happy with how these are turning out. And yeah, I did have a slight thought before I started doing the colors that the no colors look really cool. And I was thinking just to do like a minimal coloring. But or like really dull, or not too crazy of color schemes. However, I really like how this is turning out. Anyway, here's a combined one. I also added some texturing. And it's not the same kind of texturing I always use because they don't have it on this iPad. But yeah, I'm not sure about this blended bit. Oh, I don't really like it. I'm going to probably change that up when I start refining the colours. But for now, it looks fine. I'm thinking of adding the school logo or the school design to his jumper because it looks a little bland. Well, not a little bland. It looks really nice, but I think that adding a school there, or a little design at least, will look really nice. Yeah, I might add the little tags to the shoes as well, because they didn't do that. Oh yeah, I changed the tiger's eyes. I'm not sure. Okay, in the printed out ones, I do have them yellow, but I had them as white rimmed. Actually, let's have a look if I have it here. I believe yeah. Ah, not the same one. Okay, never mind. Here we go. If we look here, I had them white and green, but that looks really strange. Kind of makes them look like a bit too much of a person. So I just kind of made it look more like an actual tiger's eye. And it looks really nice. Not sure what else to say, if there's anything else here. I really like how this background looks. And at the minute, this like 3-part thing does look a little strange. That's only because we don't have the other 3 parts. When it's fully completed, it won't look so in the middle. So yeah, I really like this. It looks nice. And I like how everything is kind of interacting with each other without needing too much. For example, main character over here could either be looking at the tiger, or he could be looking at Sloth over here. And obviously she's looking at the spirit, so I'm really liking how it's turning out. The clouds look pretty good. Clouds are always a pain to draw. I don't like this little lump I've just noticed. Yeah, I really like how it's turning out though. So I'm very happy with it. And yeah, it looks very connected and interesting.